Welcome back. Tremendous things have been happening since you've been away. We have added green flasks to our research belts. As you can see, we used long-handled inserters to drag them onto this secondary conveyor, which is now taking them down towards our research centres. We've done a little bit more research since you were last here, but fundamentally, nothing much has changed. Everything is working very smoothly right now. We've got plenty of iron coming in, plenty of copper queued up like you wouldn't believe. But it's not going to be enough. As you can see already, we've got one iron mine here that is completely out of juice. And a quick zoom out shows us that we've got another iron field over here, but it's hardly extensive. And looking at the map, I'm not actually seeing any more iron for me to play with in the near future. Maybe this patch over here, but there are alien Johnnies stood right there waiting to rain on my parade. So we're going to need to up our iron output. Despite there being plenty coming in, we have got factories sitting idle waiting for stuff to happen, and that's not good enough. So we need to also look at this. We've got copper appearing in the iron belt. Who said copper could appear in the iron belt? Let's put a stop to that. That's going to throw a right spanner in the works. And the reason for the observant among you is that obviously we've got all our resources coming in this central belt, and we haven't bothered to do anything with regard to filtering when it comes to the inserters themselves. So let's sort that out right now. Half a dozen smart inserters should do the trick. Smart inserters are your friends. And I'm sure at some point someone will tell me about how you automatically set smart inserters to copy the template used by the one previous. However, for now, we'll do it by hand. I'm a firm believer in doing things by hand, largely because I don't know of a way not to do them by hand. So we'll just get these chaps looking for iron ore rather than grabbing whatever's in front of them, and that should sort that problem out. So, what are we going to talk about today? Right, well, fundamentally, we're going to expand our iron input dramatically to make sure that we have enough resources for the future. And that means exploiting the second iron system, iron field, that we spoke about just moments ago. More importantly, however, we need to start working on getting better map knowledge going so that we can radically increase our iron output further afield, which is going to involve some trains, I imagine. But first we're going to have to actually find that iron in the first place. And as if by magic, I've already built a couple of radars ready for just such a task. So we're going to bang these down over here because it's a nice unoccupied area right now. And in doing so, we're stretching our electricity production. So we're going to expand that as well, and we'll get that done first. Now, fortunately, last time, as I'm sure you recall, we strayed into the realm of mucking about with our power generation. We expanded it in such a way that it was slightly more modular, by which I mean that we could expand it more easily. Now, of course, I can't tell what the hell's going on here because there's so much pollution. I'm sure the aliens don't mind too much, and if they do, stuff them. We've got colonists to protect, and that requires a certain amount of electricity. And frankly, I'm not in the mood for listening to some whiny, bleaty environmentalist aliens. Humanity was here second, and this is now our planet, and they can just get used to the concept. So we'll expand out our water line here, just in accordance with everything else that we've got done. Whack in a few new boilers. In fact, let's get rid of that and put some boilers in here. Boiling away. Tremendous. Any more? No, that's good. Insert those up. Oh yeah. Feel the cheese. Good stuff. Can't beat having a whole lot of power to play with. And this should keep us going because our main research task in the very near future is going to be to get solar on the go. Now, I'm not going to go for 100% solar because until such a time as I've got other things to make, we're going to need to use up some of the heavy and light oil. And the easiest way to do that is with these fuel blocks. What are they called? What are they called? Hold on, let's pick some up and have a look. They are called solid fuel. I should have remembered that, really. So yeah, I mean, as you can see already, the conveyor bringing in the solid fuel is jam-packed, and as such, we're not going to be able to keep up production on petroleum gas, which means we're not going to be able to keep up production on plastic. Why aren't you picking up coal? What's your? Oh, you know, it's full. Good. So much plastic. So let's get some research going, and let's get going on more exciting and more lovable energy technology. I mean, the main reason to use solar is it's more effective to capture in capacitors, which will allow us to build up a resource that means hopefully we can push less environmental pollutants out into the ether. Not that I'm particularly bothered, but the number of attacks could do with dropping. So our primary goal here this time is to get our ore production back up again. As you can see already, it's working so efficiently now that we no longer have any kind of a queue for iron ore coming in, and this is possibly something to do with that chap also having run out of resources. So I'm going to get rid of this belt, and we're going to want to alter the belt here a little. So we're going to build a belt system that means that when we expand into more remote sites, that the train cars bringing back those resources have somewhere nice and easy and accessible with which to unload. So fundamentally, this is going to mean that we belt up over here, and we take a nice long belt up around the top. As you can tell, I have thought this through already. I know, wonders will never cease. I have put some initial planning in to figure out exactly how we make this work. And to kind of test it out in the first instance, we're going to run out to this secondary iron field over here. So then when we'll have iron coming in down there, marvellous, feeding into our smeltery, which we will be expanding because it's nowhere near fast enough right now. And then instead of going around the bottom with that second belt as we have been doing so far, we'll go around the top. All will become clear. Is that everything? Yeah, that's all going. And then we can do the same around the bottom, just like this, to change it up again. And frankly, changing it up again. If I'm not replacing something that I built previously, I'm not happy. Good, excellent, marvellous, and grand. So we've got a little bit feeding in right now. It's not particularly efficient because it's only using one side of the belt, but we'll fix that in a moment once we get our new ore field set up. In fact, what I might do while I'm here is, yeah, let's make sure that we're actually grabbing everything out of this one so that when this one is done, it's done. We don't have to occupy that space any further. Pop that in there. Should provide enough power for everybody. Should provide enough power for everybody. Is it going to... No, let's do it like that. Maybe not the most efficient way to do it, but a way to do it. Right, so we now need accumulators, not capacitors. They are capacitors, but these are accumulators. So we'll get those researched as well, and then we can start looking at solar power, which will help us out in the longer term, I'm sure. Right, let's bring these online. No. Instead of just spamming belts all over the place, let's actually... attach them properly. Good. Now that's going to cause some kind of horrendous log jam at some point, but we'll fix that over time. So we've got 10 new drills, and I want to make sure that I'm grabbing everything off here in one go. So we want to make sure that the green outline is covering the whole ore field. And that way it's pulling from everything within that perimeter. And at the bottom we'll do 2 more, which is maybe a little redundant, but it will be pulling resources nonetheless, and it will make it go a little faster for those lower ones. I don't doubt that these are going to run out in various orders, which is maybe not going to be the most convenient thing in the world, but frankly it will do. There we go, feed you up here. Everybody's happy. Good, then we just have to connect it up to the power. Absolutely love these big power pylons, love it. Use a couple of these cheeky wooden numbers to, in fact I don't think I need to, I think one will probably cut it. Sweet. Cool, right, good, so there we go, brand new ore production facility online. We should still be, yeah, we're doing okay for power. I mean, if we look at our graphing for power over time, it's going nowhere but up. Long may it last. We could probably do with a little bit more for the next piece of expansion that I've got in mind, but we'll figure that out in a sec. Okay, so as you can see, completely inefficient. This one is already log jammed, so let's work on what's going to be the best way to do this. We could just do a quick double side stack them up. Do one there and then one immediately below it, just to create some even distribution. Jolly good. Right, okay, splendid. You can go down here, back onto the main belt, back onto the main belt. Excellent, good. So already with that in action, we should have our iron production back up again, which is good. But as you can see, iron gears, which is something that we do use a heck of a lot of, are slightly deficient when it comes to having supplies, and we really do need to fix that. And if you recall, not moments ago we accidentally spilt copper into the iron belt because I didn't have the foresight to use smart inserters. Well, they've now clogged up our steel production, so let's fix that as well. And of course that's not going to help, it's just going to use up even more resources and stop even more queues coming along. And frankly, as much as queued resources might seem inefficient, it does mean that you do have some leeway before running out. Right, marvellous. So let's get some splitting of this resource queue here and get some more smelting on the go. Do we want it there? I think we can probably go further down so that we can maintain our symmetry across here for when I want to expand in the same way with copper. One more down, one more down. There we go. Excellent. So 3 more, and this will probably bring our power to its knees once again. But if there were a running theme so far, it would be there is never enough power. We don't want to use these. Do we want to use these? Yeah, we might as well use these woodens. I've got enough of them. Excellent. And then a couple of smart inserters to make sure we're pulling in the right resource. We won't make that mistake again, despite the fact that the only resource we're going to be bringing in for the time being is iron. There we go. Excellent. Right, now, so we just need to wire that up, and we're in business. And that is accumulators ready to go. Even better. Smashing. All right, what else have we got here? Let's have a look. Let's grab the inserter item size. That won't do any harm. I mean, that's really only going to help if I'm pulling stuff out of chests. But frankly, right now, while we've got green flasks in production, we've got red flasks in production, and we're ramping up our resources in order to be able to get blue flasks in production as well. And believe you me, we really do not have enough resources coming in to be able to adequately make blue flasks in a speed that is acceptable. Okay, how are we looking? Good. And in fact, I'd probably benefit from having yet another one going as well. I mean, this is split 4 ways, and the only reason that it's building up on these 3 sufficiently is because the electronic circuit system is not chewing down too much iron, and I mean, frankly, there is no upper limit to how much is going to be enough. So let's put in one more, despite the fact that I'm almost certain that's going to take me over my power budget. But we'll fix that. We'll fix the power, because we've got solar panels coming up, and that's going to make everybody happy, especially the aliens. Although, frankly, what do we care about aliens? Juice it up. Wink it up. And we're golden. Terrific. Okay, smashing. So we're now pulling from... what have we placed over there? Place 6 over at the new ore field. We've got another 8 over here. All of them still drawing at the moment. But I should have enough going on there to be draining those resources pretty quickly. So we're going to need to think about trains in the very near future. So far so good on this side of things, though. We're still producing enough power just to support our newfangled and excitable iron production system. So, okay, fantastic. Well, this is all going rather swimmingly. We've got enough power. Excellent. Right, let's start looking at solar. Obviously, solar panels don't work at night, and that's going to be problematic unless you find some way of storing up all of that juicy power during the day to make sure that at night it can then be reintroduced to your power grid and keep everything running when the lights are on. And that's where accumulators come in. And for accumulators, we're going to need batteries. So, for batteries, what's the betting I've not researched sulfur? Oh, I have researched sulfur. Good for me. Let's get engines on the go. So, where was I? Yeah, I was talking about accumulators. So we're going to need batteries, and batteries is one of those items. Batteries are one of those items that are a pain in the backside to make, because they do need all sorts of bits and pieces coming from what are undoubtedly remotely organized areas of your factory. In this case, we're going to need sulfuric acid, copper, and iron. Now, copper and iron are no problem, obviously, because they come in from our central smeltery. But in order to make the sulfuric acid, we need more iron, plus sulfur, plus water. And you're going to go, oh, so we need sulfur. You look at sulfur, and it needs water and petroleum gas. That's right. We're going back over towards our plastic refinery here, which is our current usage of petroleum. And to be honest, I'm not entirely convinced we're going to have enough petroleum gas coming in, given the speed at which we're generating this solid fuel, to be able to manufacture both sulfur and plastic in the kind of quantities we need. So batteries are going to be our next point of focus, and we'll cover that in the next video. Meanwhile, however, let's have a look at how our radars have done that we set up at the start of this one. Okay, so we've expanded a little. We can now see quite a few more Johnny aliens. We've got some up here in the north, which are not a big concern. This base here, however, is going to be interesting. This one that is to the northeast, northeast, I guess, of us. And there's another one just east of that. There's a good scattering of stuff over in the regular east. Plenty to the south and some to the southwest. And we're going to need to wipe all of those out. As you can see, the big iron fields we've got, that's over in the east has easily got to be target number 1. And better than that, there's a stupidly large lake right there in the middle. So we can wall up to the lake and create a defensive perimeter there. Continue walling to what looks like another lake, but we are going to need to deal with the aliens in between. And as engines turn up, let's start researching something else useful. Well, that's what we like. Substations. Substations, so beautiful. Let's get railway on the go. Seems apt, since we're going to be building one before too long. So, let's leave it there. Next time around, we'll look at getting batteries being constructed and the inherent parts there in order to get our solar facilities up and running to some extent. And hopefully by the time we've done that, we won't have run out of iron, so we can make our push over towards Alien Central and grab this nice, healthy looking, as if designed for me personally, resource field. Why don't you tune in then, and we'll see how we get on. Cheerio.